Hello, everybody. Welcome to Agita News and happy Thursday and happy 7/11 July. So I hope everybody's having a really beautiful day and enjoying the sunshine. Where I live, we're getting some really nice sun, and it's going to cool off a little bit tomorrow and maybe rain later tonight. But we're not getting any flooding or any craziness like that's going on in New Orleans and Louisiana, and I've got my eye on the levees and what's going on there in New Orleans. And uh, it looks like there's been a hurricane brewing there for the last 3 days, but the news has not really been on it as much because they've been distracted, because that's what happens with the news. Okay, so yesterday it was all about Acosta. Would he resign? And no, he would not resign. And he was unapologetic and a little too smug and just too much. He was too much. Okay, I was really surprised that Donald Trump let him take center stage and that much airtime from all the questions, which I mentioned in my last video. What I've been saying for 2 weeks now is my eye has been on the ICE raids ever since Donald Trump mentioned them on June 21st on that, I believe it was a Friday, maybe a Thursday or a Friday. I think it was like June 21st when he announced there would be massive deportations and all this would go on. And one by one, mayors came forward and said, we won't have our policemen in our city help you. And eventually Nancy Pelosi and him spoke, and he backed up. He said, I give you 2 weeks. And I believe, I'm paraphrasing, but I believe what he said was, you got 2 weeks to figure it out. And everybody was moving ahead with Acosta, Jeffrey Epstein, the detainment center camps, which are really horrible, and infighting. The Democrats have been so busy chewing off each other's toes that nobody was paying attention to this president who is going to keep his word. He's going to go the back door. He's going to go the side door. He's not, I don't believe for 1 minute he's duping us into a false ICE raid. Okay, so the 10 states, cities that are going to be raided, if they got a map of it, it is a little bit odd that even in Miami, that the mayors are not really aware of what's happening. So he's not orchestrating this with the mayors. He's not orchestrating the raids with the government. He's just saying, it's going to go forth. And these are people that have been undocumented, who have been given removal papers and told to leave. No matter where they came from, I doubt that they're very, very violent criminals because they would have been in a jail somewhere. I think these are people that have overstayed their visas, that have not followed through on what was necessary to get their citizenship. Maybe they didn't report something they should have, but he wants them out. Okay, so they're going. And what I'm left to wonder is where? If the detainment centers are such a mess that humans are packed in there like sardines and children are taking turns sleeping on top of each other's laps, and they're all like this, and they're up against pressed walls, and the conditions of those detainment, how are they going to process to move people on out? Where are they sending them to? Are they putting them on a boat? I'm looking at it logistically and saying, what? Okay, I know you're doing this, but are we taking 2,000 people out of the millions of masses and just picking and choosing, and then, oh well, if somebody happens to be there, it's collateral deportation if they get caught up in it. They get caught up in it. If they just happen to be hanging around with you and you're getting deported, they might get deported too. It just seems I don't know. Seems weird to me. So I've been saying he has not forgotten it. July 5th, in July 4th, I said, it's been 2 weeks. Why isn't anybody talking about this? It's been 2 weeks. Ice, ice, baby. He is going to do this. And everybody was just going on with the news with what they're going ahead. Joe Biden needs to apologize. Kamala Harris said this. Joe Biden said that. That's it. I mean, I call it agita news because it does give me agita. They stay stuck. And Donald Trump, he knows it. And he uses that. And he's very, very, very smart. Don't underestimate this man. I'm telling you, do not underestimate him. He has been playing with the media since he was a young man. He grew up with the media on him, knowing who's around him for the money, who's around him for celebrity, who's what. Even when he was doing negative things in the media, he was creating a media buzz. So there are people that have been high profile in the spotlight, especially him, who know exactly how the wheel keeps turning and what generates confusion and distraction and how the media spins, that the media has to move on. So they're going to have short memories and move on. So in these situations, I say, with Robert Mueller coming up with the testimony in a week, I believe, and the detainment centers now being opened for reporters to go in, and now Donald Trump again saying, okay, we're going to proceed on Sunday with these ICE deportations for undocumented criminals that have already been given orders to leave. So now they're going to be escorted along. But where are they going? How are they getting there? Who's paying for it? What? How? What are you going to send people back to El Salvador, Guatemala, where I just don't understand the logistics of that whole thing happening. They're going to have to be detained somewhere, kept somewhere, processed. But it's not going to be pretty. Not going to be pretty. So that's going on. What I don't know. I gather everyone in New Orleans is looking out for New Orleans. There's also flash floods going on in New Jersey that are warnings. So we don't know what's happening there. P&G is being held to the fire for some of the wildfires in California, and I'm interested in that. Plus, the pesticides that they were and some of the fuel that they were using to put out the fires that actually made more fires. So there were pesticides that were being sprayed that were very flammable, knowing that they were going to wipe that out, that it was going to wipe out a lot. So there's a lot going on. Meanwhile, the golf tournament that was raising money for a children's charity that was going to use women that were of age that worked at a strip club as caddy girls that were going to be bidded on by men, and the bidder got the girl they wanted, and they were going to be caddy girls on the course. That's been called off, so that's good to know, because there was going to be a burlesque show later, high end, a very tasteful burlesque show, and then escort company time spent with the woman that these men bidded on. This has been going on a long time in golf. It really has. Men have been able to do this, but not with the president's name on it on his property. So I'm glad that's gone. What else? The censorship. I just watched the whole Rose Garden little summary thing on YouTube that Donald Trump held, where he didn't have a whole lot of people really to come against what he was saying. He just is moving forward with wanting a way to confirm before the next election that everyone that votes is a U.S. citizen. So if they cannot get that question, which quite frankly, the question, to be a U.S. citizen and to be able to prove it before you can vote and all that, kind of just, I think it goes beyond that. I think they're asking if you were born in the United States, and they can't do that. So now what he's saying is that he's going to go with other means to find out who was born in the United States before they can vote. Sounding pretty gnarly and freaky to me, but what do I know, right? But I will say this. Donald Trump is setting up a regime. A regime. This is what he's a fanboy of regimes. He is a fanboy of dictators. He grew up emulating these people. He studied them. Um, his first wife, Ivana's, in her book, when she was still bitter enough to write the truth and upset enough to write the truth, she said Donald liked to go to bed reading about Hitler and dictators and how they rose to their power, and he studied all that. He's very smart, and then he would rape her. I mean, she said all that, but then she backtracked. Okay, so I'm not here to bash the president. I'm just here to remind people that, yeah, this is what is in the White House. Okay, I do think that Donald Trump is the last president we're going to see in the White House. I've always thought that when he got in there, it was like Twilight Zone. It just didn't make sense. And the Republicans have been very, very almost like in a slumber, kind of just like zombied out, like they're mollified, like their brains have been bashed. I don't know. There hasn't been much resistance from the Republicans because he's their man as long as they have a president in there. Okay, he's their man. So, again, I feel like there's going to be a rock star is going to rise out of the Republican um, arena, and it might be John Kasich, it might be Nikki Haley. I don't feel like Pence is going to do another 4 years with him. I really don't. So it could be Nikki Haley, but I really, really, really feel that Hillary Clinton is going to make her way back. She's going to see all the infighting that is going on, which will lead to people chewing their toes off. Okay, during the debates, it's just going to be, let me munch on these toes, that toes. Oh, he fell down. Oh, she fell down. And distraction, 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 and investigations and hearings and more and more and more. So I'm not feeling like Joe Biden is really going to continue forward, or Bernie. I think Bernie, again, will move things forward, but I don't think he'll be moving forward in the end. I think it will be Elizabeth Warren, it will be Kamala Harris, it will be, what's the other one I was thinking would be in there? Brain blurb. No, it won't be Joe Biden. He's got too much baggage. He's got too much governmental baggage back there. And quite frankly, I am tired of hearing about Marianne Williamson and Joe Biden wanting to save the soul of America. I'm leaving that to God. Okay, I love Marianne Williamson. I want to hear what she's got to say. But no politician is going to save the soul of America. The people have to rise up and listen to their hearts and listen to God. And unless people's hearts are ready to be pliable to the Spirit of God, which is very, very, very present now, waking up so many people. There are so many woke people to the Spirit of God and to listening to the Spirit that it kind of bothers me that people are still even thinking that a government on this earth that's in there already is going to work for them. It's not. The The politics is broken, not the government. The politics of the government is breaking down. The people are not broken. We are not a broken people. So I think the people will, of course, rise up. And a lot of people have been saying this for years. There will be a new world order. I said before, I'll say it again. Everything that's in the Bible is coming to pass. I don't believe that God puts certain people into position. I believe that once they're in position, free choice of whoever the people vote for, and whatever consequence there is, God can still use that person for God's plan, not our plan, God's plan. So the news today is I'm leaving everything in God's hands, and I think there's a breath of fresh wind that needs to come into that White House and into the Congress, and it's looking pretty stuffy now with Nancy Pelosi doing the tango with her own self, and um, even though it's really exciting to see the young the junior Congress women in there and men, and uh, um, frankly millennials that really know what they're talking about, want a better world, a better America, and they know how to get it. I think that Nancy Pelosi has had a lot of years of experience, but she's holding back what needs to go forward. Yeah. Um, she can't be the stately grandmother who's going to tell people, well, now just stop fighting now, and then start a fire over here and start a fire over there, but then say, oh, wait, I'm going to blow on this one. But don't you blow on it too, okay? I'm going to put it out. It's just gotten very ridiculous to watch. So I'm done watching for today. I hope everyone is really, really safe. I got all my errands done. I thought it was going to rain, but it didn't rain on me, so I walked really fast, so I got my calories burned, so I feel good about that. And don't get caught in the spin, and don't get heartburn, okay? Don't get Agita. Just rewind and remember what news was breaking last week, the week before, the week before that, the week before that. And believe me, it will come back if we bring remembrance to what's important to us. And that goes for justice for Prince. That goes for whatever happened to Anthony Bourdain, really. What happened to Chris Cornell? What happened to Chester Bennington? Because I don't believe they all autoerotic asphyxiated themselves by accident. Or Kate Spade. No, she didn't. No, all these people didn't go kill themselves by accident while they were trying to get off. So, yeah, that's a theory that's been going around out there that I'm tired of hearing. Nor do I believe that Michael Jackson hooked himself up to a machine every night to get hydrated and be anesthetized to sleep. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. In fact, every time I look at the pictures of all the propofol, all those bottles, I think, well, who the hell needs that much? I mean, it was just like, go back and look at the courtroom with all the anesthesia. Who needs that much? It was crazy. It was like it looks like a really bad movie, really, really bad movie. And you look at Prince, the death investigation of Prince. Who has that many pills hanging around their house, just hanging around, but is going through withdrawal and so addicted? Oh, I don't believe it. Oh, come on. He didn't go down in an elevator. He was murdered. He was murdered. Anna Nicole Smith and her son Danny was murdered. Truthers. Who were the truthers out there? Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds. They love to talk. Joan Rivers. Joan Rivers spoke truth all the time to power, and they didn't like it when she wrote her books. They didn't. So Carrie Fisher wrote a tell-all book about what went on the set of Star Wars. What prominent directors and producers did, and affairs and drugs and all that with underage young starlets. So these people didn't just go take a boatload of medication. They didn't. So keep looking back at the news and remind the media of the news we want to know. We want to know. We want you to go back and look. And that's what I'll be doing. I'm continuing to stay on the stories that have piqued my interest, and something doesn't smell right. It never will. And I don't believe it. So there's a lot of news we're watching. I don't believe it's fake news. I believe they're moving on and they're not completely investigating, and they're taking information as truth from sources that aren't true. So that's where I'm at. So today my heart is with New Orleans, because come on, how many times can they've been there before, but how many times can they be underwater like this? It's just not good. So I'm really hoping that the levees hold, and that there's no damage to life there, and people can get on their feet again, and then I just think it's extra human suffering to add this weekend to a group of people that are already terrified and have nowhere to go. Where are they going to go? I mean, I know I took a little detour there, but where, when you round up 2,000 people, where are you going to put them? These are families. These are families. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Have a nice day, and thank you for joining. Bye-bye.